We'll take your questions. If you have a question, please indicate in the chat. All right, Coach, turn over to you.
All right, well, new week, new opportunity, Iron Bowl week, and that's our focus is on Alabama. And I'll get into that here in just a minute. But I thought the guys came back on Sunday. We had a chance to assess what happened in the South Carolina game and learn from that, and then use that moving forward this week. And that's really part of the process that we have every single week is win or lose, what'd you learn? And taking that information and applying it to what we have to do moving forward and getting ourselves improved as the season continues. And this week is no different. We have this opportunity to be back at home. It's going to be an opportunity for our seniors and guys that will play their last game here at Jordan-Hare, and then playing against a really good football team. This game goes back all the way to 1893, and so obviously there's a lot of excitement about that. And as we look at Alabama, they're obviously a very good football team, extremely well coached. Coach Saban does a tremendous job with that program, with that team, and has done that consistently year in, year out. Offensively, they're first in the league. And Bryce Young, I got a chance to watch him play in high school, and he was a very good player then, has improved even more. You can see just the growth, maturity he's made through this season, his toughness, the way he's playing, and how he's got that offense moving and running and doing a lot of different things that are very difficult for the defenses. So I've been very impressed with him. And it's not just him. There's too many names to actually name. But the two wide receivers, Mechie and Williams, both guys are having tremendous years, very explosive players. And so that'll be a challenge for our secondary. Physical also in the run game. Those guys play extremely hard. Brian Robinson, number 4, the leading rusher, physical runner, plays extremely hard and does that consistently throughout the games. He's got 14 touchdowns this year because of that. Evan Neal, their tackle, really their offensive line. He's one of the guys, Alvin Trophy and Lombardi Award candidate right now. And this guy is extremely physical and plays extremely hard. Obviously very talented, but the thing that stands out is the way these guys play and the consistency that they play with. And it's hard to do that week in and week out. Defensively, very strong up front. Front 7 is extremely good. Back end moves really well, puts themselves in positions where they can make plays on the ball. They can make plays if the backs or receivers are able to get to them. And they tackle extremely well. They got 6 returning starters on that side of the ball. Will Anderson, one of their linebackers. Henry Tohu, the transfer from Tennessee, is playing extremely well. He's got 84 tackles. And Jordan Battle, DB, and again, really everybody on that side of the ball has done a tremendous job. So challenge for us is, we have to play well offense and defensively. We've got to eliminate the things that we can control as far as mistakes, play our game and go out there and make sure that we're taking care of the things that we need to within our schemes. Special teams wise, again, very good. They continue to show up on special teams as being fast, physical, and, a team that you got to play with great technique and great effort against. So overall, just very impressed with watching now more in detail their performances against each team they played. And, certainly excited about the opportunity to go out there and get ourselves ready for this week to play our best football of the year, which is always the goal every single game, and to stay focused on the things that we need to do for this team to be more successful. And, I think our guys, we come out to practice on Tuesday, taking what we've learned from the season so far, we need to apply that. And that will show up. We'll put in, a week's worth of work where, we feel accomplished after each and every day. And hopefully the next day we're out there to prove ourselves again before we ever step on the field to play. So that's the mentality that we have each and every day. That's really what the 1-0 is having that identity as an individual and certainly as a team. It is Thanksgiving week, so our schedule will be a little bit different. So guys will have time to go celebrate and be with family and give thanks on Thursday. It won't affect much of what we're doing from a preparation standpoint. And then ready to play on Saturday and go out there and finish out this season playing our best game of the season is the goal. So with that, questions.
First question is Michael Gittens.
Coach, this is your first Iron Bowl. What's the primary message to the team this week in practice going into your first Iron Bowl? And is there a chance that we see any redshirt freshmen that can't burn eligibility but may be able to help you this week?
I don't have an answer for you on the redshirt freshman yet as far as that goes. But you're right as far as having guys available to play. They haven't been in the 4 games, and this wouldn't be their 5th game. So there's opportunities for that, but I have an answer for you there. We'll see how the week goes. As far as the Iron Bowl goes, I told the players this too. I'm excited to coach in this game. This is one of the reasons why I wanted to be at Auburn. Go back before I was ever part of this program. The Iron Bowl has been a game that everybody's watched. Everybody knows Auburn, Alabama are playing. If you have a chance and you can get on and watch the game, if you're coaching, if it's a time that, for us at Boise, we had the latest game, so you could always get a chance to watch these games. And, it's one that everybody knows who's playing in it. And, something that you sit there and you think how cool that is, to have a chance for those guys to go out there and play in a rivalry game like this. And now to be here, I told our players, I'm excited to be here. I'm excited to coach in the game. That's one of the things about being at Auburn that you get a chance to do. As far as the message goes, the message is that we have to do things better than we did the week before. And that's been the message, each and every week. It's a matter of, we can talk about it. We got to go out there and do it. And everybody that steps on that field and everybody that coaches in that game has a responsibility to this team to make sure that we're doing everything we can to the best of our ability to have ourselves ready to play. And then when we get out there and play, that we do those same things through an entire football game, through 4 quarters. And for us, it still comes back to things that we can control, that we want to make sure we're a lot more effective with in the games, and we put ourselves in better positions as we go out there and prepare. So that goes back to our preparation. It goes back to, in my opinion, and I think it's important for our staff and players that we have that attitude that we're trying to prove ourselves every single day. And that should be the mentality of this football team. Every time you step into a meeting, every time you step on the field to practice, do a drill, compete in a one-on-one situation, work your schemes in team periods, you're trying to prove yourself. And to me, that's how you get where you want to be, and which is having yourself prepared, ready, and feeling the most confident you can when you go step on the football field to play. And that just comes back to the way that you approach everything. And that continues to be the message. We have to prove ourselves, and this week is no different. What is different about this week is, our seniors, obviously the game, there's a difference to that because it is a rivalry game, and you're playing against a really good football team. But for us, we're always trying to play our best football each and every week. And how we do that is we get ourselves prepared to go out there and play like that through a great week of work, and then having that attitude and mentality of proving yourself every day. So when it's time to do it on game day, that's just what you do each and every day. So that's the message. That's the focus, for everybody in our program, and something that we need to get done each and every day so that we're all ready to play on Saturday.
Bennett Durando.
Yeah, Bryan, I wanted to ask, since you've been here, what you've sort of heard just from people in the community about the Iron Bowl, and if you've gotten any best sort of pieces of advice about coaching in it.
the best advice I've got from people in the community or other folks that have been a part of it. Well, I'll say this. The first question I was asked after I did my press conference on Christmas Eve was about the Iron Bowl, which I think at that time was about 340 days away. So here we are. That's one of the things that personally I look back on, and after I finished everything I had to say, that was the first question I had. So that made it very clear how important this is. Certainly, as far as our fans, people that are a part of our program, like I said, this game has been going on for a long time. This game is one that everybody in the country knows is being played. And certainly when you have your fans, your alumni, and people that have been a part of it, they're passionate about Auburn, Alabama. And so to me, that's the best part of this game is that you have that excitement and passion surrounding it. So, you want to go out there and have yourself prepared and ready to play. You want to go out and play your best game. You want to have an opportunity to put yourself in a position to go have a chance to win. And you do that by having yourself prepared. So, all that excitement, everything building up, as the season goes, because, at the end, you look at the schedule and this game is on there for sure. Everybody's aware of the Iron Bowl at that point. That's going to be played, and this is the date. And as you get closer to it, especially the week of, that becomes the complete focus. And so all the things you heard leading up to it now, that's part of this game. And at the same time, it's also, we have a team right now that we're developing and growing and trying to improve each and every day. So that still is the main message of what we're trying to accomplish, the things that we have to do this season in order to go out there and play our best football, and to play, against a really tough team. So we're going to have to play tough. We're going to have to be disciplined. We're going to have to do things that we've shown that we're capable of on a consistent basis. And then, the rest of it, that all comes with it. And that's going to be exciting on game day to be a part of that. And then we go out there and we get a chance to play. And hopefully that's the most exciting thing is our opportunity to play and that, we're trying to play the best we can.
Jordan Hill.
Bryan, you talked about a little after the South Carolina game, just what you saw from TJ with a little bit more time to look at the film. Just what did you take away from his first start?
Yeah, like I said, I thought he was solid. There's some good things in there. There were some things that we got correct. We need to correct. That as we prepare going into this next game and another start and opportunity for him, we need to do a better job of. And so, like any other player, it's you look at the good, you look at some of the mistakes, you correct them, and it all goes back to the amount of time spent preparing. I think the intensity that you practice with, especially at that position. One of the things about the quarterback position, you're not getting hit in practice, and it's very easy to be a little more laid back from a physical standpoint at that position because you're not striking, you're not hitting, you're not chasing, you're not tackling, you're not doing those things that other players are doing, which is, in my opinion, for the quarterback position, the worst thing you can do is to not come out there with that mentality as far as just being intense, having a sense of urgency and practicing in a way so when you get into the game, you're prepared for all the situations that the defense can give you on those particular plays or in that particular down and distance, whatever it is. And so I think, and that's nothing towards TJ's preparation. It's just, the quarterback position in general and what we try to help our guys understand is how you get yourself ready to play. And, he's got to continue to keep working through that, knowing that, he's going to be starting in this game. He played in the last one. Did some good things in there, did some things that we've got to be much better at. And, the progress will be seen in our practices now throughout this week. And then ultimately, we'll know where we are come game day when we go out there and perform. And we'd like to see the stuff that we do in practice show up in the games on a consistent basis at that position everybody else is.
Nathan King.
Bryan, from what you've seen from Bryce Young and what Alabama's able to do in the passing game, what are some keys for you guys, whether in the pass rush or in pass defense, to be able to slow them down on Saturday?
Well, it's all those things. I don't think you want to give any quarterback an extended amount of time back there just to deliver the ball. And, you'd like to provide, some pressure. You'd like to be able to disrupt, what any quarterback is doing. What I think Bryce does a good job of is, I think he's tough. I've seen him stand in the pocket. He's taken hits. He's delivered balls, and he's been accurate. I think he's got a good understanding of what they're doing. As you watch the tape, it sure feels like he's got a good feel for what they want to accomplish each and every play, where he needs to go with the ball in different situations and things that may cause some disruption. So, it's not just about what we do up front. It's really the entire defense. You got to be in position consistently against good teams. And, if you're talking about quarterbacks in particular, against good quarterbacks, have yourself in the proper position and coverage, and do what you can on the defensive side to try to add a little bit of pressure. And so it's just about our defense. It's about playing good defense, being in the right position, doing what we can up front, being able to have some things that put us in a position where we can, try to get after the passer and all that. But, you also have, they can run the ball. They're physical up front. There's a lot of weapons on that side of the ball that you have to account for. So it's not just one guy, one thing. It's every single guy. And so that's what you go through during the week is in your preparation is really trying to figure out, what are the best schemes, what's the best plan, and then, try to put your defense in the best position to be successful against, all the things that they could do. And, they got a lot of things they can do. They got a lot of weapons. And so we have to be ready for all those things.
Tobias Wilborn.
Here we are. All right. Love the technology. Bryan, how are you doing? I hope you're doing well today. Yeah, well, as good as possible. I feel you. With the kicking game, how would you assess Patton's performance? You said on the radio show you're going to kind of go back and forth between him and McGuire. Seemed to be mostly Patton. What'd you think about him, and why'd you go mostly him?
Yeah, we could have went with Evan on kickoffs. We were going to have Ben. I think I said specifically kickoffs there. If I didn't, that's what I meant. Ben was going to kick field goals, and we made one, made the extra points. We missed one. So anytime, any of our specialists, we just got to be consistent. We got to find ways to put points on the board. And when we're in a position where, I think we're inside the 15-yard line, we have a chance to make a field goal. We got to find a way to make it. Ben knows that. We know that. That's no surprise. We just got to execute in those situations. But again, much like Finley and other players that have had some opportunities to start and be out there and be a part of playing in the game. Ben has got an opportunity to do that. Expect him to be better this week. Have a better understanding now as he's played a little bit more this season, as he prepares himself to go out there and play against Alabama. And then, our other guys too, all being ready. And like I said, Evan's a guy that, it's another week of preparation for him to get himself ready. And, we may see him at some point. We'll see how the week goes and then make a decision leading into the game.
Justin Hokanson.
Hey, Bryan. When you've had a chance to sort of think about these last three losses, is there anything you can pinpoint in terms of the finishes and the lacking in terms of kind of falling apart down the stretch? Is every situation different, or is there something you're seeing that's causing the team to just not finish the way you want them to finish?
Yeah, I wouldn't say, there has certainly been some moments where we've had that fall apart, drives here and there. So, and those things happen. You got to overcome that. That happens sometimes, at the end of the games, you want to be clutch in those moments. Sometimes things happen earlier in the games. You got to overcome it at that time. I think we've started somewhat fast in some games. I don't know if we've done it because I know we haven't done it consistently enough on either side. We have in a couple games, OD playing together. But really it comes down to that second half and finishing. It's 4 quarters of football. Everybody says that. It's truly understanding, being able to go out there, make your adjustments at halftime, and then execute those in the second half. And the bottom line is, we're not doing that. We're not finishing in games, and that stood out. So, and we could finish better. Doesn't guarantee us a win. I know we can finish better. We can continue to play better football in the second half of games. You got to respond, in my opinion, to what happens to the other side of the ball at times. Somebody scores, you got to find a way to score. And you got to be able to get a turnover. We got to be able to get off the field on third down situations. We have to extend drives, take advantage of field position when our special teams gives it to us. So, a lot of it just has to do with being better at playing the game, and then, being able to do what we're coached to do in those situations and being consistent. If we made it happen in the first half, we can make it happen in the second half. And so to me, when you do truly play 4 really good quarters of football, to me, that's about consistency. And that happens, from being prepared, and, then I think having that same level of focus, if not more, as you come out in the second half. And then also as coaches, making adjustments and understanding where your team is at and being able to put them in a position and helping them to be as successful as possible, and know that, hey, there's some things we're going to have to adjust to, and being able to make those, and then that information getting done on the field is critical. So, it's a combination of a few things that when it comes down to it, those few things show up in a big way. And that's what we're working on every day, that we're in this building and on that practice field, is understanding that, those are the things that we're really preparing for. Those are the moments that we're putting all this time in so that we can be consistent, that we can play and make adjustments, and then go out there and actually do them consistently. And then also being able to get, within our schemes and some of the fundamentals, those right, going into that game, so that we're playing a better level of football for 4 quarters. So, that's, and at the end of the day, it comes down to, just as a competitor, you got to compete. Coaches, players, doesn't matter. You got to compete all the way throughout the game. Put yourself in a position where, you have a chance in the fourth quarter to go out there and win the game, or to find a way to put yourself in a position where you have a chance. And that's about competition. That's about competing. That's about having an edge about you, and having that attitude of just playing your best football every chance you get, which, we don't get a ton. If you look at all the work that you put into this game, and you look at the amount of games you actually get to play, it's not a lot. It's not a lot. So every chance you get, you got to maximize it. And to me, that doesn't guarantee you winning, but it does show that you're going to fight, and that you're going to do everything you can to the best of your ability to go out there and try to help your team find a way to win. You do your job, you do it to the best of your ability. And that's really, at the end of the day, if you're doing that, that means you're playing good football, in my opinion. You're coaching good football. You're giving yourself and your team a chance to be successful. And, that's really all we ask. Is just to your personal best each and every day. Try to prove yourself every single day, show up ready to go and have that attitude of wanting to get better. And then let's go have those same things in the game through the entire game. And so to me, that continues to be the challenge. And, it's not complicated. It's very simple. But I think there's a lot of things that surround that, that we just have to continue to keep focused on the stuff that matters and keep the main thing. And that's playing a lot better football than what we've had, than what we had done in these last 3 games. And, we get another chance. That's the thing about this week. We get another chance to go out there and to work on those things. How hard are you going to work on it? How hard are you going to spend your time on that field preparing? And, what are you going to do more that you haven't done? That's always, as coaches and players, like, to sit there and think to keep doing the exact same thing over and over when you're not getting the results. That's crazy. You got to find some ways to do things better, and you got to find ways to really evaluate where you are, and then evaluate where we are as a team.
Mark Murphy.
Yeah, Coach, you guys have done a good job on kickoff coverage this year, and Jamison Williams has taken 2 back for touchdowns, and you got sort of a different dynamic now. Well, Onder's not out there. Could you talk about the importance of doing a good job of covering kickoffs Saturday, and also doing a good job of catching punts and not losing yardage in those situations? Thanks.
Yeah, no question. Well, hopefully on the kickoffs we can get those a little deeper. And if not, guys are going to return it. We got to run down. I thought Jarquez Hunter was really effective on kickoff. We had to move some guys around. There's still competition happening on this team each and every week. And so some guys that were in those positions, we had some other guys that were executing better in practice. So those guys got a chance to play, and they were effective. And so I thought Coach Watts did a good job of identifying that. And it's the same thing. Like I said, we're not going to just continue to keep doing the same thing and just assume that it's all going to work out. We're going to have to make changes. And that continues to be something on this football team that we'll have to keep doing. And we'll see how it goes this week. The return game and all that. Yeah, as a punt returner, you want to catch every punt. That's the goal. The goal is to catch every single punt. The goal is to put yourself in a position where you can do that. Doesn't always happen. And then if it doesn't, then protect your team from being in a position where, what happened to us in the last game, we don't even give ourselves an opportunity to be in that position. And, it's unfortunate. We shouldn't have been. And, that comes down to details. That comes down to things that were emphasized early in the week and don't get done in the game. So how important is practice? Extremely. How important are the coaching points and the things that were emphasized during the week, and how that may show up in the game? Extremely important. Thanks. So that's something that we got to keep working on. That's a work in progress. And, at the end of the day, those things that we talk about and the things that we emphasize need to get done. And at least from that standpoint, that might not be all the things that show up in the game, but at least those things, we need to have them show up in a positive way. The rest of it, we'll have to figure out, because there'll be other things that happen in games. But the stuff that at least you practice, prepare for, and emphasize, that needs to show up in the games.
Our last question today comes from Brian Matthews.
Yes, Brian. Tight ends did not catch a ball last week. Excuse me. Was that a function of the game plan, or was that more about South Carolina trying to take that away from you guys?
I think it was about South Carolina and probably just some of the situations that we were in. We were running the ball and doing some things from that standpoint. It wasn't intentional to not target the tight ends. Sometimes in the game plan, though, you go in there, you think one thing is going to be available and you're going to like it. And then you start getting to a little bit different groove. And I think the one thing for us, we have guys that are able to touch the ball. We got multiple players that have their hands on the ball and can do things, and it's being distributed. We seem to be a lot more effective. So, but the tight ends are always part of the game plan. They are in the run game. They are in the pass game. It's just we didn't have an opportunity for those guys this last game. And that was a little bit of us, a little bit of South Carolina, a little bit of the flow of the game is the reason why. And then, some opportunities that We did have a chance to get the ball to him. We didn't. So there were opportunities for him. It just didn't happen in the game. So, unfortunately, those guys didn't get a chance to be a part of it that way.
All right, Coach. Thank you for your time today. Appreciate it.
Okay, thanks.